We start with a title that grips your spine because it promises a map most people never get. The top 5 dark chosen ones of the 5 shadow dimensions. If you stay, you won't just hear a story, you'll walk out with a blueprint to wield your shadow without getting eaten by it. First minute hook. I went into 5 places across the world where the veil thins a wind-carved canyon that hums at dusk, a temple whose stones sweat in the heat, a salt flat where silence makes your ears ring, a drowned forest that smells like memory, and a roofless monastery lit by a sky so black it teaches humility. In each place I met an archetype, a dark chosen one who mastered a different dimension of shadow, hunger, silence, chaos, time, and mercy. We're going to move fast, cut hard, and never coddle the parts of us that prefer comfort over destiny. Expect to see the most shocking moment from each dimension teased early, a howl swallowed by the canyon and returned as a chorus, a candle flame bending against the wind for no reason, a compass spinning when no metal was near, an old clock ticking backwards, and a stranger forgiving someone who never apologized. By the end, you'll know which dimension claims you and how to train it without losing your life to it. We accelerate from setup to immersion. Dimension 1 is hunger, the abyss of want. The dark chosen one here is the devourer of lies, and their power is brutal honesty about desire. Most of us learn to starve our real wants while binging on substitutes, attention, busy work, cheap dopamine. The devourer does the opposite. They feed their deepest aim and starve their distractions. In the canyon, I asked, "What do you want so much you'd risk becoming unrecognizable?" The wind answered with sand against my teeth, and I realized I'd been grazing on approval while starving my actual mission. The devourer taught a practice called the fast and feast cycle. For 7 days, you fast from your 3 favorite distractions, name them now. Don't be clever, and you feast on your one real obsession for a scheduled block each day. The rule is clean. During the feast block, you may not reduce your goal to research, gear, or planning. You must do the core act, write the pages, make the calls, film the scene, ship the prototype. The devourer tracks energy like a ruthless accountant. Every hour gets a label, builds voltage or bleeds voltage. The canyon's lesson is physical. When you withhold fuel from your fake hungers, your true appetite roars, and that roar can sound like fear. But fear is often just power with no instructions. Ask yourself a knife-sharp question. If you fed your real hunger for 90 days, what part of your life would break and need replacing with something truer? We hit the 3-minute re-engagement with a mythic encounter. In the canyon, I left a bowl of water at dawn. By noon, it had doubled with condensation, though the air was bone dry. Impossible? Maybe. Or maybe reality likes commitment. The devourer smirked and said, "When you stop begging crumbs from the wrong table, your table grows." Practical move. Build your hunger hierarchy. Tier 1, sacred hunger, the one that, when fed, makes you kinder, clearer, more generous. Tier 2, neutral hunger, pleasures that refresh but don't define you. Tier 3, counterfeit hunger, behaviors that pull you out of integrity. For the next 7 days, feed Tier 1 daily, allow Tier 2 weekly, and starve Tier 3 completely. Expect withdrawal. Expect your shadow to shake. Then expect a weird calm. Your nervous system will realize you won't abandon your soul again. For mid-video intensity between minutes 3 and 6, We add quick-cut challenges the devourer would set, a 24-hour no-complaint fast to reset the mouth, but a call your shot post where you promise a delivery date, an object purge where you remove 27 items that carry stale identity. Each cut is a jolt that says, "We are moving." At minute 6, we drop the second re-engagement. You receive a sentence that feels stolen from the future I build what doesn't exist yet. Write it. Blood sign it with a pinprick if you dare. You won't forget. Dimension 2 is silence, the chamber of echoes. The dark chosen one here is the listener at the threshold. Their shadow is not noise, it's the terror of hearing what the silence says. In the stone temple, I watched a candle flame lean toward a sealed door each time I asked a hard question. The listener taught the discipline of no input. For 60 minutes a day, you consume nothing, no music, no reading, no talking. You walk, breathe, or sit. That's it. On day 3, your brain will invent emergencies, your skin will itch, and your to-do list will become a siren. This is the test. The listener's doctrine is simple. Clarity arrives after the storm of avoidance. The first 20 minutes are detox. The next 20 are mobilization as your mind tries to throw ideas at you to break the stillness. The last 20 are gold, the signal beneath the static reveals itself. The practical tool is the 3-voice journal. After each hour of silence, write 3 columns: fear's voice, wisdom's voice, strategy's voice. Fear gets to rant. Wisdom replies in a sentence or 2. Strategy translates wisdom into one action. The listener is ruthless about execution. 1 wisdom, 1 action, same day. Ask a question that might rearrange your life. What truth have you kept quiet because you're afraid it would erase a role you've been praised for? If that role must die for your soul to live, can you let it? We keep the pace with quick scenes. In the temple, monks crack sesame seeds between their fingers without a sound. You try it and realize your own movements are louder than your thoughts. The listener smiles. We add a spectacular element at minute 3, a line of salt poured across the threshold that silence won't let you cross until you answer a koan. Who are you when you stop performing for the people who aren't even watching? It's less riddle, more scalpel. Mid-intensity rises as we confront demon stillness, the panic that you'll disappear without noise. We counter with the anchor of presence, a breath pattern: -4 in, 7 hold, 8 out, paired with a tactile cue, thumb to ring finger. Every time panic spikes, run the pattern. Over days, the cue alone calms you. At minute 6, the second re-engagement, the sealed door opens by itself during a windless hour. You step into a room not visited for years and find a single sentence carved in stone. When you listen, you become audible to the right people. The back half resolves with an abrupt payoff: one conversation you've avoided, done cleanly, then silence again. The prize is not applause, it's alignment. Dimension 3 is chaos, the storm of becoming. The dark chosen one here is the weaver of fractals, the one who can hold paradox until it births a third path. In the salt flat, where the sky and earth mirror each other, a compass spun like drunk mercury. The weaver's law: chaos isn't the enemy, unmanaged chaos is. Most of us oscillate between rigid control and reckless abandon. The weaver carries a flexible frame that can stretch without snapping. Practically, you'll build your chaos grid. 4 quadrants: structure, play, risk, recovery. Each week gets 2 anchor blocks in structure to advance your core mission. 1 block of play to court novelty, 1 block of risk to push an edge, and 1 block of recovery to integrate. The rule is non-negotiable. After risk comes recovery, not another risk. Otherwise you burn. The Weaver uses micro-dares, 5-minute sprints into discomfort followed by 30-second resets. For creators, that means publish a raw idea, then walk barefoot on cold tile to reset your nervous system. For founders, that means pitch the scary investor, then sit with eyes closed and name 5 sounds. Quick cuts in our timeline, lightning on a horizon that wasn't there a moment ago, your laughter when a plan fails and a better one appears, a child you mentor teaching you the workaround you refuse to consider. The Weaver asks a question with teeth. Where are you choosing chaos because it keeps you safe from the responsibility of succeeding? We turn the dial to mid-video intensity by surfacing the chaos siren, the thrill of emergencies that lets you avoid the boring excellence of focus. The antidote is the boring hero hour, 1 hour daily, where you do the unsexy work that compounds documentation, systems, training. Set a camera, time-lapse yourself to turn tedium into spectacle for your future self. At minute 6, the second re-engagement is a tangible phenomenon, the first time you follow the grid for 7 days. A coincidence lines up with ridiculous precision. An email you needed arrives exactly when you finish the draft. A call comes while you're walking your integration loop. The Weaver shrugs. That's just coherence. The resolution is deliberate. You codify 1 playbook so chaos becomes a muse, not a master. Abrupt payoff. You cancel 1 shiny new distraction mid-sentence and return to your grid. Voltage conserved. Shadow respected. Dimension 4 is time, the cathedral of seasons. The dark chosen one here is the keeper of long games. Their shadow is urgency addiction. In the drowned forest, I found a clock ticking backward, every talk a reminder that we measure wrong. The keeper teaches long math, compounding that outlasts fads. You choose a 10-year game, then design a 90-day sprint that aligns with it. The power move is the endgame letter. Write to your future self from year 10 describing the life you tended, the alliances you formed, the apprentices you trained, the craft you mastered. Then reverse engineer the next 90 days with 3 needles, 1 leverage skill, 1 reputational asset, 1 system that will save you hours forever. The keeper is allergic to drama and enamored with continuity. Practical practice, the brick ritual. Every day, place 1 brick, publish 1 artifact, teach 1 concept, document 1 process. Miss a day, you double tomorrow, then reset. No triple penalties, we're not martyrs. The keeper asks a sobering question. Whose timeline are you living on, your soul's or a platform's? If a platform vanished tomorrow, would your body of work still stand? Build as if algorithms are weather, not climate. Quick scene changes here are slower, steadier, morning light creeping up tree bark, ink drying on archival paper, your calendar with fewer but heavier commitments. Mid-intensity arrives when you face the grief of time you can't get back. The keeper doesn't soothe, they redirect. You honor lost years by making this 1 count. Introduce the 3030310 allocation, 30% of your time on current obligations done with excellence. 30% on building non-fragile assets, books, courses, libraries, products, 30% on relationship capital with people playing long games, 10% on wild experiments that might become the next 30. At minute 6, the second re-engagement, you meet an elder who sees you, calls your patterns, and gives you a relic, a pen, a ring, a phrase that carries weight. They say, stop sprinting past your harvest. The back half resolves with an abrupt move. You cancel 3 obligations that don't serve the 10-year letter. The prize is not free time, it's concentrated time. Dimension 5 is mercy, the furnace of transmutation. The dark chosen one here is the alchemist of wounds. Their shadow is cruelty turned inward or outward. In the roofless monastery under an ink-black sky, I watched someone forgive a person who never apologized. It wasn't weakness, it was sovereignty. Mercy is misunderstood. It is not passivity or boundarylessness. It is the refusal to carry poison. The alchemist's method is the fourfold fire. Step 1. Name the wound without poetry. Step 2. Extract the skill it forced you to learn. Step 3. Set a boundary that would have prevented it. Step 4. Offer mercy not as reunion, but as release. You will not rehearse this pain anymore. Practical exercise. Write 3 letters you never send, 1 to the person who hurt you, 1 to the version of you who survived, 1 to the future you who uses this fuel. Then perform the coal ritual. Hold a piece of ice while reading the letter to feel the burn and the numbness at once. When the ice melts, you're done. The alchemist asks the deepest question so far. Who do you become when you're no longer defined by what broke you? If you can't answer, your shadow still runs your identity. We increase intensity because mercy is a blade. Quick cuts show boundaries enacted with calm. You say no without apology. You block a number. You leave an argument stayed. You donate the item tied to a memory and breathe easier. Then we stage the wow. Under the star-cloaked sky, we pour a circle of water around a single candle. Wind rises, the flame steadies. The alchemist nods, mercy stabilizes fire. At minute 6, the second re-engagement, a person you thought needed to change for your peace doesn't change, and you are still free. That realization is supernatural because it violates the old rules of power. The resolution is weary and clean. You stop practicing speeches for people who won't listen and start practicing your craft. Abrupt payoff. You delete a draft message you've rewritten 17 times and go for a night walk. Your nervous system exhales for the first time in years. Now we weave the 5 dimensions into a single operating system. The devourer gives you hunger aligned with purpose. The listener gives you silence that reveals signal. The weaver gives you frames that hold chaos. The keeper gives you time that compounds. The alchemist gives you mercy that frees energy. Together, they build a dark chosen one who is dangerous in the best way. You cannot be bought by cheap praise. You cannot be rushed off your path. You cannot be baited into mindless conflict. You cannot be tired into submission. And you cannot be defined by your scars. We'll turn this into a viral grade narrative with tactics that also train your mind. Quick cut challenges you can try on screen and off. Spectacle that mirrors your inner work. And stakes that matter because they're yours. Your thumbnail shows 5 silhouettes standing on the rim of 5 worlds. Your eyes are closed in 3 of them and open in 2. Curiosity pulls people in. Integrity keeps them. The real prize at the end of this video isn't applause. It's the sentence you write in your own blood, not literally, but with the cost you're willing to pay. I will build a life my shadow respects. Let me leave you with a practical summary to run this week. Day 1. Hunger map the hierarchy and do a feast block. Day 2. Silence minus 60 minutes of no input and the 3-voice journal. Day 3. Chaos draft your grid and do 1 boring hero hour. Day 4. Time write the 10-year endgame letter and choose your 3 needles. Day 5. Mercy perform the 4-fold fire and the coal ritual. Day 6. Integrate 1 brick, 1 breath, 1 boundary. Day 7. Declare publish your North Star sentence and 1 artifact born from it. Then rest. The work you just did is heavy. Your body needs space to rewire. Final question before we cut. If your life became the training ground for thousands of others, would you be proud of the curriculum you're running right now? If not, good. We can change it. We are changing it. We move fast because momentum loves speed, but we cut deep because power loves truth. You and I are going to turn raw craving into clean energy and sharpen silence into a blade that parts confusion. First, the hunger engine. Ask yourself, which desire, if fed daily for 90 days, would make lesser cravings irrelevant? Write it in 1 sentence, no adjectives. Now set the feast window, 72 minutes, same time daily, where you do only the core act that builds your destiny. No researching gear, no reorganizing apps, only the work that would embarrass your excuses if it were seen. To fuel this, we implement the voltage ledger. Each evening, list 3 choices that built voltage and 3 that bled it. Tomorrow, replace 1 bleeder with a builder before noon. This is how the devourer of lies plays infinite games by starving counterfeit appetites without drama. Quick challenge: delete 1 app that eats time, send 1 call my shot message with a deadline, and set 1 irreversible appointment tied to your craft. Your nervous system will protest. Smile. It means you're leaving the old village. Now the silent blade. The listener at the threshold doesn't meditate to be calm. They listen to be accurate. You're going to do 45 minutes of no input daily for the next 5 days. The first 15 minutes are for detox, the second 15 for questions, the last 15 for answers. Carry a small card with 2 prompts. What is the 1 truth I'm avoiding? And what is the simplest next action that proves I heard it? When the urge to grab your phone spikes, run 4-7-8 breathing and touch thumb to ring finger. We're pairing calm with a physical anchor, so the cue alone later can steady you in chaos. Immediately after each silence block, do the 1 action rule, a single, measurable step that translates insight into reality within 1 hour. Example, if the truth is I need to end this collaboration, your 1 step might be, schedule the conversation for Thursday, 3 p.m. and draft 3 bullet points. Silence without action is spiritual entertainment with action. It's a forge. We stitch hunger and silence into a flywheel. Silence selects the right target. Hunger supplies the force. Structure your day like this: 10 minutes breath and body scan, 45 minutes no input, 72-minute feast window, 12-minute recovery walk, a 30-minute boring hero hour. That's 169 minutes that outperform most people's week. Layer the chaos grid minimally, 1 risk rep. Publish something imperfect, followed by 3-minute sensory reset. Then honor time with the brick ritual. Ship 1 artifact before sleep. Mercy closes the loop. Bless the version of you who would rather scroll than choose not to. Ask the deadly question: whose approval would you lose if you fully fed your true hunger, and is their approval worth your life? We end abruptly for memory. Stand up. Speak your 1-sentence hunger. Whisper the one truth silence gave you. Put both on your calendar in ink. Then stop. No more thinking. The prize is motion. The wow is consistency. Tomorrow we take on paradox full force: how to ride storms without breaking, build anti-fragile systems, and turn setbacks into compounding assets that scare your former limits. We ride the storm by framing it. Chaos punishes the unframed and empowers the prepared. Build your chaos grid this week. 2 structure blocks that move your core mission. 1 play block to court novelty, 1 risk block to stretch identity, and 1 recovery block to integrate. Non-negotiable rule: risk must be followed by recovery, or you leak power. Use micro dares: 5 minutes into discomfort, 30 seconds of sensory reset, cold water, name 5 sounds, feel your feet. Publish 1 imperfect piece daily to inoculate against perfection paralysis. Ask yourself, where are you choosing chaos to avoid the accountability of success? Now fold in long math. Pick a 10-year game and draft your endgame letter from year 10. Describe craft, alliances, assets. Reverse engineer a 90-day sprint with 3 needles, a leverage skill that multiplies output, a reputational asset that compounds trust, a system that saves hours forever. Use the brick ritual daily: 1 artifact shipped, 1 process documented, 1 person taught. Allocate 3030303010. Current obligations, non-fragile assets, relationship capital with long game players, and wild experiments. Cancel 3 obligations that don't serve the letter. Time doesn't speed up, distractions do. Transmutation is the fuel line. Run the 4-fold fire on a fresh or old wound, name it without poetry. Extract the skill it forced, define the boundary that would have prevented it. Release the story through mercy, no reunion required. Hold ice while reading your letter to feel burn and numbness. When it melts, end. Replace rumination with creation within 1 hour. Turn pain into a tutorial, a policy, or a poem. Mercy isn't softness, it's voltage stabilization. Who are you without the identity built around your scars? Answer that, and your future starts today. Fuse everything into a daily flywheel: 10 minutes breath scan, 45 minutes no input, 72-minute feast window, 12-minute recovery walk, 60-minute chaos grid block, rotate structure play risk recovery, 30-minute boring hero hour, brick ritual. Touch your tactile anchor when doubt spikes. Whisper your North Star sentence at thresholds. Evidence over affirmation. Track proofs in a simple ledger: vows kept, artifacts shipped, boundaries enforced. Abrupt payoff. Stand now. Name the long game out loud. Schedule the next risky, reputation-building move. Delete 1 shiny detour. Then stop. Momentum is the prize, coherence is the wow. Tomorrow we close the circle by crowning the 5th dimension mercy at scale and revealing how dark chosen ones build alliances that outlive them and movements that don't collapse when they rest.